promised, I am making a video about the deadly, the brutal, the heartbroken, the scorned Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the first female characters I'll be doing. And honestly, it makes a whole lot of sense to me. She is one of the most story-driven characters in that game. She is written well. She is shown to be not a character that's weak and pathetic, but also struggles and has flaws, and goes to the other women for help at the beginning, and then slowly builds herself back up, and then also, in essence, also kind of falls back down due to the fact of, well, let's just be honest, killing her first person in the story. Despite the fact, yes, it's an O'Driscoll, it's a person that's ruined her life, especially for the fact that this gang killed her husband, Jake. It just kind of goes downhill for her then and there, and she just starts killing more and more and more. But I want to take this slowly and kind of get my thought process out as much as I possibly can as I do this, as we go along and figure out more and more what else is a part of her character. I want to say this much. She is an important character, not because, she's a particularly, just a character that kills, who can get stuff done and kicks butt, but no, it's her flawed behavior. It's her way that she represents herself. It's very interesting, and it shows both sides. Now, mind you, I enjoy the kick butt one part of her. This part of her that makes her really interesting. That really makes her to be out this wonderful, interesting character that is so flawed and hurt and scorned by the world because of someone else's decisions. And so the first time we end up meeting her, it's at the beginning of the game of Chapter 1 of Red Dead 2. And for those of you who've seen it, who've played through it, who have experienced it, will already know the story. But for those who don't, this is kind of a spoilery video, so I'm going to skip around a bit here and there, so be prepared. We meet up with her for the first time when we walk up to the house after killing the O'Driscolls. And Micah, piece of crap, bag of maggots. And he's another person I might end up talking about, because he's a really interesting written character to where you can easily hate him, which is what you want to do with a character like him, from what I understand in writing. So what happens is, let's go back to Sadie. We interact with her, Micah being Micah, chasing around the table. Dutch and Arthur walk in, and they witness this young lady just in tears, broken, hurt, and not sure what to do. Just looks like a wild animal of sorts, if you think about it, because the way she screams, she almost screams just like a wildcat. And it kind of shows you the kind of person she already was. Like, a lot of that rashness, that, I wouldn't call it animalistic, but just very, what's the word? Very, I guess you would say unladylike, but it's like also unorthodox behavior from a woman. And I'm not saying all women are going to act all dainty and pretty. Matter of fact, I prefer a woman like Sadie. And yes, she's good looking, but I also like her personality. But just like also like a real person, there's a lot of things that I don't like about her that really make her an interesting character, an interesting human being to watch fall apart, get hurt, to rely on someone like Arthur, who's been around for a long time, who's for 36 years of his life, have seen everything. He's done everything that an outlaw can do. And witnessing this young lady just thrash out after the loss of her husband is just surprising. Because he's so used to the women that they can be outspoken, even though there's some outspoken women in his group. But he's used to more dainty-like, but also that act like it. But when you see Sadie, she's like, I'd say I won't even call her a tomboy, because that's almost an insult to her character. Because there ain't nothing wrong with tomboys. They're a rare breed. Heck, I used to have really good friends that were tomboys growing up. So, as I was saying, after being kind of interrupted there a little bit, we're in the scene. The house gets set on fire. Dutch showing his... I'm going to say this much. I don't think he's trying to manipulate her. I think he's genuinely concerned about her safety and tries to get her out of there. And this is before everything happens. And so Dutch takes her by the hand, covers her up, gets her outside. She's broken, barely saying a thing. Earlier she screamed like a predatory animal trying to protect herself. Angry. Just ready to thrash out at any moment, and just grieves. And her way of grieving is very just hard to watch. Genuinely. Just see her crumble after Dutch gives her a kind gesture of like, hey, let's get you out of here. Your house is about to burn down. We don't need you being out here alone and dying. And takes her to the gang, and how she slowly gets incorporated into the story slowly. And we don't get much of her in chapter 1 if you don't pay attention to the camp discussions. Honestly, I'm a guy that really likes stories, so I try to pay attention as much as possible to those, as much as I can find those interactions. And so from what I can see is just a lot of the women of the camp, like Mary Beth, Abigail, help her grieve, help her to understand things, help her to move forward from this, because it's a tragic thing to lose your spouse in such a way. He was murdered. Let's be honest, he was murdered by another group of criminals. Horrible group of criminals, the Driscolls. And she's processing, and she's not immediately getting into, I'm going to go destroy them, I'm going to go kill them, I'm going to go rip them apart. It takes her time, the whole chapter, no less, to really, and a little bit halfway through chapter 2, which is interesting to me, that she doesn't fully become this ravenous, angry, really bold and brash gunfighter as she is shown to be in later chapters. And we take a look at also the moments of just spending time with the other women in the camp, and also barely briefly talking to Arthur in certain moments, and just having these interactions. And she just kind of slowly builds trust in these people that, well, let's just be honest, they're outlaws. They're people that are wanted people. They are wanted individuals because they stole and they killed a lot of people. A lot of people. No matter how much you want to phrase it, even if you want to phrase it as Dutch being a Robin Hood-esque character, I would say this much. I'd argue this. He was like that at one point, a Robin Hood-esque character that finally got a taste of what killing's like, or slowly got introduced to it. And he started killing less and less corrupt individuals, and started killing kind of indiscriminately. And one of those is Heidi McCormick, who was killed on the boat ride. And so, of course, this is not about Dutch. This is about Sadie. But I bring this up because a lot of her behavior gets kind of not condoned. It gets supported by Dutch in later chapters. Like, she's being pushed in that direction to be almost somewhat of a pawn, if you think about it. And unfortunately, a lot of what she does, I mean, I'd argue even Arthur kind of encouraged it, unfortunately, and pushed her in that direction, because it's like, these are a group of criminals. What are you going to expect a woman to do? Either a woman like her to either be like the other women in the camp and do chores, which is something everybody knows she's not going to do. Especially when we get to chapter 2 and find the new camp. And just the interactions between her and, what's his name? Camp Cook. Dang. Former name, I forgot his name. Gosh, I hate doing that. But the interaction between those two characters is just, it's funny. It's like, I'm not going to be cooking for y'all. I'm not going to be doing this. I'll work, but I ain't doing this. And for Pearson to insult her by calling her a fishwife, and she reacts in such a way, and Arthur has to kind of get in the middle of like, all right, that's enough, you two, and have to bring her along to find out what she can do, because she's kind of in terms of work, she's a bit of a blank slate. She doesn't really help around camp yet, because she's still grieving over her husband. She's still grieving at the fact that her person died, that she loved and wanted to be with for the rest of her life, and was taken away from her. And I mean, she's still the grieving widow. She's still that person, but a lot of that grief gets turned into rage and fury, and a lot of that gets let out more and more as the story goes on. And whether it's encouraged by Arthur or Dutch, it's actually kind of interesting, because it's like, when you see Dutch fall apart, you see more of Sadie's actions just, and I'm not saying openly that Dutch was in control of her actions. No. A lot of it was just Sadie letting her anger, her fury out at the world that took her husband away. But also, I'd argue it's a lot that she didn't necessarily properly grieve. That a lot of what happened to her, I mean, the girl's 25. I'm literally turning 25 tomorrow. And I don't have everything figured out. And if it were me, having that moment of like, if I lost a spouse like that, someone important in my life, I don't know, I would be acting very similarly. And if, maybe not necessarily killing people, but it's like, if there was it was the only way to really process it in my head, possibly, I don't know. I'm different that way. And so, I've got to be honest, it's, as we go along, as we see her move towards the Sadie we know, as she puts on the pants, so to say, for the first time, she starts acting more and more like Sadie, the Sadie we know in the story. Sadie that's able to get in the action and defend people, and then just slowly build up to be this person of someone that they can trust, someone that they can go out there and deal with the problem with. And to eventually let's just be honest, to eventually finally take revenge against the person that led these men to kill her husband, Colm O'Driscoll, or Colm O'Driscoll. I'm just going to say that out there because Colm want to respect some sayings or some pronunciations of Irish sayings, because I know Mr. Roger Clark was big on that. Because it's an Irish name. So for the time being, I'm just gonna say Colm O'Driscoll. Colm O'Driscoll being hung legitimately, no failure, nothing, gets the boot, gets killed because of Sadie and Dutch interfering with his guys, saving him. Now, I also want to say this, and it's very interesting. I think it was worse off for her to get that moment. I think it pushed her into a place to where she got worse rather than better. You don't really see it near the end of the game, but you do kind of see its effects in the epilogue. In the epilogue of the story. And what's unfortunate is that she kind of goes into a lifestyle of not necessarily a nomad, but a wanderer of sorts after leaving the group at the end of the game. But these mid stages of Sadie is the stages of her is very interesting. She goes from learning her way to competent, reliable person to a bounty hunter with a crippling, undealt with grief. And the truth is, from what I can tell, it's what unprocessed grief can do to people. It can change somebody. It can really hurt somebody. It makes them do things that they don't usually do. And what I also notice in the epilogue, when you first see her for the first time, she lashes out at that guy to tell her to leave her alone. And it's a pretty normal thing from what I understand. I don't go to bars. That's just a personal thing for me. But from what I understand, a lot of girls do get bothered at the bar. And especially in the cowboy days, of course they did. They got away with a lot of different things back then that they sure as can't now. And so, as you see, when she lashes out, she literally pulls a knife on the dude, stabs his hand into the table, and just starts wrecking house. And you can kind of tell John's like, oh yeah, he's all for her doing that because she knows him and knows her. Excuse me. He knows her and she knows him, and they're like good friends or whatever. And what's interesting is they show what happens to somebody who doesn't process their grief right, who doesn't deal with the situation. Matter of fact, let's scoot back. And this is before Arthur dies. This is just one of the missions you can do with her, where she just completely wipes out more O'Driscolls. The last bit of the O'Driscoll game. And we get to that scene where after we deal with all the O'Driscolls, walk up to the upstairs, she gets the man off her, turns it around, kills him, and as you see, she's just soaked in her enemy's blood. And this is also depending on what honor you have. So if you have low honor, she's not going to really open up to Arthur. She's going to keep things to herself. And I think, honestly, with low honor, it really kind of pushes it in a more negative light. But when it comes to high honor, and of course it's going to push in a positive light, but it still shows that she's still hurting, that she still can't quite get over losing her husband. And she says, besides my Jakey, you are one of the best men I know. That is a crazy statement. A man, an outlaw, someone that similar to the men that took, and I don't mean this in a mean way, Arthur is not all the way like the O'Driscolls, but I'm saying an outlaw being called a good man, that sounds unheard of. It's a very unheard of thing. Especially back then, because men back then did a lot of terrible things. You go look up what Wyatt Earp was like. He was not a hero. He was a bad man. So was Doc Holliday. Don't get me wrong, Doc Holliday, even though he's a really interesting historical figure, he was not a man you messed with. Neither was Wild Bill Hickok. Neither was the other Earp brothers. Neither was a lot of the famous cowboys like Billy the Kid. And they were young too. And what's interesting is, in history, there's also outlaw women that survived. That it's a very interesting history that you can see. But the kind of outlaw she became, the kind of person she became, is rare. And why it was such a rarity in history to see women like that is very interesting, because it's the standards of the time. Either a woman was married to their husband and had their own property and land back then, or, for a lack of a better saying, but she became a prostitute. She worked in the saloons to get money for either her family because her husband was gone, or was a freshly new teenager wanting to go out and find herself, but unfortunately got scooped up into it. Or it could be a plethora of different situations that got them there. Women were not seen as the individuals that they are now. They were not shown to be respected and not cared for. And the fact that there was such a rarity in the gang, in the story, where they did have that respect, where they said, like, where they shown that they see them as an individual, that they see them as a person who deserves the right to live, is very interesting. And it wasn't normal back then. And it had to be pushed. It had to be brought to this point. And I genuinely believe individualism is a good thing. However, we need each other. It shows you in that story as well. Humans need each other to move forward. Humans need community to move forward. And unfortunately, in where I'm at, as a Christian man, there's a lot of separation, even in Christianity, through the branches, through ideologies, theologies, and stuff. It's hard to have community a lot of the time, and especially with the type of denomination I am. I'm non-denominational. I don't claim a denomination. It's very difficult to find anybody, and seeing this group of misfits come together and make something somewhat work, even though it's kind of faked, it's kind of not. It's something amazing to be seen. And no matter how you see Dutch, the fact that he was able to even keep these people is amazing. Because a lot of these misfits would not be working together at all, especially with Bill, who was if I believe, a Confederate soldier. If that's right, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He was a Confederate soldier who fought for wanting to have slaves. And then also on top of someone like Micah, who was very, very much not with the ideas of like having a person of color around and insulting him. Whether it be Charles, whether it be Lenny. Man, I experienced his death for the first time, and it was horrible. Especially with Micah, especially how he treats Lenny and Charles. I mean, to a degree, to a degree, what was his name? Javier? To a degree, it's genuinely sad. It's genuinely sad, and that people like Micah still exist. They do. Maybe not as outwardly as insane and crazy and kill hungry or bloodthirsty, but I just want to say this much. The fact that even Dutch was able to bring these people together is just a very interesting and kind of makes him still kind of look like a good guy to me. I think he lost his way personally, which, matter of fact, I might do a video on him at some point, because he is an interesting guy to me. He's a very interesting man who has shown some ounce of care and love towards these misfits, towards these people he considers family, and allowing Sadie Adler to be a part of that, to be these individuals, is very interesting, and it shows the kind of character he had. I say he had because he kind of lost it down the line. There's a reason why I say that, because he lost it a long time ago. And especially when Hosea dies, that's when more and more of him gets let go. That's when more and more of him gets put through the ringer. So, that being said, with Sadie Adler, with Dutch falling off on the deep end, she did as well. Unfortunately, we don't really know what happens to her after the epilogue. I mean, she was at the wedding for Abigail and John Marston. From what has been said, she went down to Brazil to look for work. I think it's also said that she went down to Brazil to go look for a husband or something. I don't know. I don't know why they would make that. Not to say you can't find a spouse in Brazil, because, like, hey, Brazilians are some of the greatest looking people you can find, but I also heard they got some of the greatest personalities as well. But with that being said, I want to mention this, and I say this with the utmost care and very interesting way of putting it. Sadie Adler, despite being a very attractive, a very beautiful woman, has a very ugly insides. Has a very hurt insides. She's hurt on the inside, and she looks beautiful on the outside, but she is an animal, a hurt predator in the inside. Her grief was not processed properly. She turns into this ruthless bounty hunter that just does not know how to process everything correctly, that doesn't know how to move forward, because she's still that same 25-year-old woman that lost her husband. Despite moved on and aged, she's still hurting. She's still dealing with it, and she's taking it out on, well, let's just be honest. You think about it, people like the O'Driscolls. Even after wiping them out, she's still not done. And I think it just says this much about Sadie's character. She's flawed, but interesting. And I wish, and this is coming from a man, I wish we had more realistic women in certain character stories. You can make them attractive. There's nothing wrong with an attractive woman, but you got to make them flawed. You can't make them perfect. You got to make them a little bit more realistic in a story. They're not going to always react a certain way. They're not going to always have a cool head, just like a man would. Not every guy in the world is going to be some brave, stoic hero at the end of the day. Arthur sure wasn't. He was not a brave, stoic man. Despite putting on a face, Arthur was not a perfect human being. And I'm going to definitely do a video on him. But why I bring these guys up is because women in any story are characters. They're not just their gender. They're human beings being written out, whether on a piece of paper, on a Google document, or whatever. We need to get to a point to where we do have more women that are written well like Sadie Adler, but not have this power fantasy over men. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but I am saying this to make you understand. You want good characters? Make them flawed. Make them have some sort of flaws about them. Because Sadie Adler was not a perfect character. She has a lot of great qualities about her. That isn't just her beauty. She's a very bold. She is very get it done. She is very much the kind of woman you want to have around because she's reliable. She's smart. And more importantly, someone to get the job done alongside you. That's the kind of woman that any man wishes he had. Someone that's reliable. Someone that is bold, that's willing to step in and say, I disagree with this. We need to come up with something better. But also on top of all those great qualities, the negative qualities don't take away from her good, but it make her more human. That she has a bloodlust, that she has this unprocessed grief, that she is sad, that she is super angry. That's what makes her interesting, and that's why I enjoy her as a character. I don't enjoy her because she's a pretty face. I enjoy her because she's a person. And I'm a man saying this. I know it's weird. I know you don't want to agree with me. Some of the people that, heck, if a feminist watches this, I doubt they will, because I doubt they would care. But I want you to understand something. I don't hate women. I don't hate women at all. I don't like behavior where you put not only regular characteristics of a woman down, but also put down the characteristics of a man down. Or should I say human characteristics? Because male and female can have a similar personality. Male and female can be a similar type of person, but they are different biologically, no matter how much you want to put it. And this is why having characters like her will change things. Matter of fact, I might do another female character that's I'll figure out something, but I really think maybe I need to talk about this, and I want to process this and think about this more and more. And as we head toward the end of the video, I want to say this much. Women are a gift. Women are important to a man's life, no matter how much, whether it's your mom, whether it's an aunt, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a coworker, whether it's your significant other. They're important. They are the support system that men need every single day, no matter how much men want to deny it. Look, guys, I know it sucks right now. Men, I know it sucks right now. It seems like every turn we got somebody female crapping on us, or somebody transgender crapping on a male, regular biological male. But I want to say this much. There will be a point and opportunity for us to find the right woman, no matter how bleak it looks. Having someone like Sadie, having someone like Abigail, having someone that sees the potential, sees the good in us, is going to be important. And I hope one day we find somebody that sees the good in us, that sees the potential in us. I personally do, and I won't lie. I personally struggled with really seeing certain things, having any value for myself being seen in a woman, because all I see everywhere is just men being put down. But I realized something, that's not every woman on the planet. Those are very select few, very hurt individuals. So we cannot give up. We cannot give up, guys. We can't. And with that being said, I thank you guys for watching the video. I thank you for taking the time to listen to a goofball in a hat talk about a female cowboy or cowgirl. Talk, you get the idea. I thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get going and get to the gym. I'm out. Peace.